Hello friends, Namaste from Uniquity team. So in our series of video on boiler and turbine and all related to power plant, today we are presenting a video on HP bypass system. So HP bypass system bypass steam from the MS line to CRH line bypassing the HP turbine. So why it is done? What is the need of the HP bypass system? So first, to improve flexible operation, because we need a different amount of steam in a turbine at different time, so the quantity of steam can be controlled to turbine, so this will improve our flexible operation. Second one is dumping of excess steam to bypass steam from boiler when turbine is not in service. When the boiler is lighted up or when the turbine is not in service, then the boiler keeps, if the boiler is lighted up or live, then the boiler will keep on producing the steam, and there need to be a path for this steam to flow out. We can't keep on raising the steam pressure in the boiler and do not let the path for the steam to flow. So to dump this excess steam when the turbine is not in service, we can use HP bypass system. It directly bypasses the turbine and dumps the steam into the condenser. To quickly match the steam parameters with the turbine metal, when the boiler is lighted up, the steam parameters doesn't match with the requirement of turbine. The turbine should be rolled and taken in service only when the steam parameters match as of the value that is defined by the OEM for the turbine. There are different sets of the steam parameters which are required for turbine. The parameters of the steam includes the pressure, temperature of the steam, the silica content of the steam, and also other parameters. But these three are the main parameters of the steam, and these should be matched with the requirement of turbine so that steam can be entered into turbine to roll the turbine. So the temperature, it doesn't comes easily, and the pressure also. So when boiler is lighted up, the pressure of the superheater steam increases. So by giving a flow to the steam, we increase the superheater temperature. Also by dumping the steam which has a high silica, we get the required steam parameters. So there is a dumping of steam required to attain the parameters. That's why we need HP bypass. Fourth one is to protect the reheater tubes. The steam in the boiler flows from the superheater circuit to HP turbine and then to CRH, and from CRH to reheater, and then to HRH, and then to LP turbine and IP and LP turbine, and then to condenser. But when the boiler is lighted up, we do not have the flow in the HP turbine. Okay, so there is no steam flow to superheater circuit. So there will be no flow to the reheater tubes because there will be no steam in CRH circuit. So as the boiler is lighted up and we are getting heat, so reheater tubes are also getting heated. So if the reheater tubes get heated more than the maximum limit, the reheater tubes can starve due to the excess heat, because the steam acts as a cooling agent for the tubes. So if there is no steam flow, then the temperature can lead to the failure of the reheater tubes. To gain the steam parameters, we need to dump the steam. We will produce the steam in boiler, and to gain the parameters and to attain the required parameters, we will have to dump the steam. So this is done cyclically. Therefore the steam can be dumped to the atmosphere to attain the parameters, or it can be dumped to the condenser only. By taking HP bypass in service, we can dump the steam directly into condenser, and that will minimize the water loss during the startup. So the basic diagram of the HP bypass system is illustrated here. You can see there is a boiler, an HP turbine, and HP bypass system. This is a superheater circuit, and this is a reheater circuit. So when boiler is lighted up, the steam flows from the superheater circuit to the MS line, and from here it is a two paths. It can go to the HP turbine and it can also go to the HV power system. So what we do in HV power system is that if the stop valve is open or maybe it is closed, it depends whether HV turbine is serviced or not, we can bypass this HV turbine by opening this HV pass system, and the discharge, the outlet of the HV power system is connected to the CRH line. That CRH line will lead to the reheater system and the steam will flow through the reheater tubes. So this is a basic HV power system. It bypasses the turbine and establishes a flow from MS to CRH and at the end to the reheater tubes. This is a typical diagram of the HV pass system from Mimix. Here you can see there is a main steam line. Okay, so two number of main steam lines, that is MS left and MS right. Okay, here we got two HV pass valves, BP1 and BP2. These are main HV pass valves, and the outlet of these valves is connected to the cold reheat line. Here we have HV pass spray system. This is a other set of three valves for controlling the temperature of the steam flowing through the BP1 and BP2 valves. It consists of BD, this is a block valve, and a BP1 valve for the controlling the temperature of the BP1 and BP2 valve for controlling the temperature of BP2. The water for the spray comes usually from the discharge of the BFP. It may be taken from the kicker stage of the BFP or the discharge of the BFP, depending on the plant to plant. Also, HV pass system is an oil operated system. The valves are hydraulically operated because they are concerned to the high pressure, which is about 162 in the unit, like 210 megawatt. So there are two oil pumps provided. They are normally known as a oil supply unit or OSU generally in the units. So the both pumps are standby and they have a defined pressure set point in them. So they operate in auto based on a pressure set point. They start when the pressure falls and they stops when the pressure rebuilds. So here is a typical diagram of a 210 HV pass system. This diagram controls the oil supply unit of the HV pass system. Here we can see there are two tanks. This is a tank 1 and this is a tank 2. In the tanks only there are pumps. The pumps are placed inside the tanks. Okay, that is an accumulator, 30-liter accumulator given to sustain the pressure shocks. Okay, here the P is pressure line, that is a line through which oil goes. T is a return line and L is a leakage return line. Also in HV pass BP1 and BP2 valve, there are two systems provided. One, there is a normal open, and second is a fast open. So these lines here, these detect a normal opening of the, for the normal opening of the BP1 actuator, and this one here, this is for the fast opening of the HV pass valves. For the fast opening, we got another solenoid also, which is located on the HEI pass wall. Let's not get more deep into this diagram. This is only for the illustration purpose. Now we will discuss that what are the main functions of the HEI pass system, why we use HEI pass in the plant, and what is the utmost importance of it. So the first thing is raising the boiler parameter during startup. As I told you that with boiler parameter I mean steam para, and in steam para there are three main points: temperature, pressure and silica. Also the second one, to warm up steam lines. HEI pass, if taken in service earlier than taking in service an HP turbine or the whole turbine, can lead to the heating of the steam pipelines. Okay, so there will be a slow heating of steam pipelines that will be very healthy for the structure and the pipes, because they will low gradient of the increase in temperature. The third one is to match live steam pressure and temperature before entering into turbine. It is similar to the matching the pressure that we require for rolling a turbine. So while the boiler is lighted up, the pressure is increasing in the boiler, we keep on dumping the steam to a condenser, and we keep on doing that until a certain pressure, a set pressure is attained, at which we will start rolling our turbine. A quick start of turbine. We can maintain the adequate pressure in the boiler, the required pressure at which the turbine should be rolled, and we will maintain that pressure by opening the HEI pass, opening and closing the HEI pass, and as the turbine is ready to be rolled, we can quickly roll the turbine and we can quickly take the turbine in service. So there will be a quick start of our turbine. Also, fifth point, it bypasses the steam to the HPT and during sudden unloading of machine, tripping of machine. So if something happens to HP turbine or whole the turbine system, if the unit got trips, okay, so what will happen? All the stop valves will be closed. Therefore, the sudden unloading of the HP turbine will happen, and to control the pressure rise, because the sudden closing of the stop valves will lead to the rise in the pressure of the boiler. So to control the rise of the pressure, HEI pass will open up and it will dump the steam to the condenser. Also during sudden loading of machine, if there is a load shed off, then the requirement of steam will reduce because no more extra load is required. So what will happen, if the requirement of steam will decrease, then the steam flow which is maintaining through boiler should be compensated, and that is compensated by opening of the HEI pass valves and dumping it into the condenser. Sixth one is avoiding the reheat starvation of boiler. The starvation of boiler is that if at early startup we have a steam flow through superheater circuit, but no flow to reheater circuits. Also, as the temperature of the boiler increases, the metal temperatures of the reheater coils increases, and if it reaches the maximum limit of the metallurgical limit of the coils, then the coil can break. So the breaking of the coils, the damage of the coils is known as the starvation of the reheater circuits, because a reheater circuit and all the steam circuit in the boiler is steam cooled. Okay, if you talk about a superheater circuit, reheater circuit or the steam cooled valves, that are the steam cooled tubes. If no steam flows through the tubes, there will be no cooling off of the tubes. Therefore, these can damage. The excess heat, excess temperature can damage the tubes. Therefore, it requires the steam to flow through it so that it remains within the limit, so that it will not get damaged. So by taking HVAC pass in service, we can maintain a flow from superheater to reheater circuit, and therefore avoiding the starvation of boiler. After you get a thorough idea about the HVAC pass system, that how it works, what it is, and what are the main functions of the HVAC pass system, let me tell you about interlocks. So interlocks is that for certain simulation, for certain inputs, there is a fast opening and fast closing of the HVAC pass system. So HVAC pass BP valve, it is a main valve. So here are the interlocks of the HVAC pass BP valve. So fast opening is when, so I have told you earlier that fast opening, we have another solenoid located near the HVAC pass valve, which is there for fast opening, and for normal opening we have a other solenoid. So the fast opening will happen when generator breaker gets open. Okay, generator breaker gets open either due to turbine trip or due to the islanding operation of the turbine. Second, when the LSR get operated. LSR here is a load shedding relay. Load shedding relay acts when you have to shed a sudden load. Also when turbine tripped, then there is no steam flow requirement in the HP turbine, therefore you have to bypass some steam into the condenser. The fourth one is the MS pressure deviation set point high. So in the HVAC pass system, in the MEMIX, there is a certain MS pressure set point given, and if the actual MS pressure crosses this set point, okay, like if there is a set point given and there is MS pressure. So if MS pressure becomes greater than set point, then will lead to the fast opening of the HVAC pass. This difference can be anywhere from 5 to 8 KSC depending on unit. At one of the stations it is 8 KSC. Also reheater protection factor. Reheater protection is a combined logic where we get the idea that if there is a flow in a reheater or not. Because there is no flow in the reheater, then it can lead to the starvation. I have told you earlier the damage of the reheater circuit. So the combined set of logic for reheater protection are there. We will talk it in the later videos. So if the reheater protection gets acted, which means that there is no flow to reheater, then the HVAC pass will fast open to maintain the flow through reheater and to save the reheater coils from damaging or starving. There is also emergency push button on the HVAC pass page, through which you can fast open the BP1, BP2. There are also closing interlocks. The first one is a low condenser vacuum. So if there is a low condenser vacuum and if you also dump steam, then still will not get cooled. Also there is a no vacuum that will suck the steam, and it can lead to the blowing of the diaphragm of the LP turbine. So when there is a low condenser vacuum, we do not dump HVAC pass steam into the condenser. So this is given in the fast closing. Also the HVAC pass downstream temperature high. If the downstream of the temperature or the HA bypass is high, very high, then also fast closing logic is implemented for BP1, BP2. It is generally placed at 280 degrees Celsius in some plants. The values may vary. Also there are interlocks for the block spray valve, the BD valve and the BP valve, the HA bypass individual spray valves. So if the first thing is that if HVBP is more than 2% open, means that if BP, any of the BP valve is more than 2% open, then it will trigger to these 3 points, that it will open the block spray BD valve. Okay, it will switch the HVP BP spray valve to auto. Okay, and it will open the BP to minimum. Because HVP BP valve is open, therefore it will open BP to minimum command. And if HVP is BP is less than 2% open, BP, it can be 1 or 2, then it will close the BD valve and it will also close the BP. So these two commands are simultaneously forwarded to close them all. So hope you got the idea of the HVP system. We talked about the functions, we talked about the basic diagram of the HVP as illustrated here. You can go through this diagram, you can get a BP1, BP2, BP1, BP2, BD and the oil system, supply systems. Also we talked about the functions of the HVP. We talked about the oil systems. Hope you liked the video. If there are any queries, please mention in comment. Thank you from Unicode team.